Dodd, at your leisure. Frosty on the left, Sue on the right.
3, 2, 1, go.
Boom! Out goes the bolt there, and we are going to see the Chris come out and immediately get a punish, and Suwu taking up that very aggressive. And Frosty is going to be rocking the carrions and whatever on earth that other one is called, as we do see the trade come out there. Suwu going for the R1 afterwards. We do see, is it the steeple? I can't remember what it's called. It's a great sword. That's all I know.
It's the one that does the fancy. That's it. That's one of the fancy ones.
It's the swishy flick. Swishy flick.
That's just something. It's definitely something.
The steeple it was, and Suwu was very low right off the bat there, and that's the downside to having a very reactable setup. But one of the things I'll point out about Suwu that's utterly terrifying is her movement. Having fought her quite recently, it's if there's anyone who's going to be able to
with that quick step, that's a nasty one. That is a nasty setup.
That grab there as well didn't do her any favors, but she's keeping it up, keeping that little bit of pressure up, going for these crouch pokes. We see the quick step come out there on the side of Suwu. Frosty going for these jumps. The carrion offhand is an interest. It's the main hand carrion, which is interestingly enough as he goes to the two-handed great sword, and that's going to be 388. Does he get the catch? He does. Frosty taking that stock. We'll just tell Frosty, yep, he's a little bit closer to the edge. Ready when you are, Dodd.
3, 2, 1, go.
Boom. Out goes the bolt there, and we do see both of our players. It's getting that punish again is the side of Frosty, getting it right off the bat, and then even managing to find a time to flask afterwards. Oh, and the anti-air there, the 398 damage there in that exchange.
That was a very powerful one. The double great sword, the power stance great sword. I would have lost money if I had said there's no way that's going to show up. I would have lost that bet. And landing an actual hit on it. Frosty showing off an absolute off meta lord, but that backstab says
Wash is for breakfast.
Now it is absolutely nothing. The people are starving. There is no food on the table. No dice. Nothing you can do. That quick step coming out again, that would be infuriating to deal with, especially with the UG setup, because you know that trade is just going to come in. And you were always going to be a microsecond away from being hit by it. Oh, another one. There was what's the mix up? There is no mix up. It's just right in front of you.
Oh, she goes to the ravioli and not quite able to make it. They're all trying to style on one another. I think that's where we're at now at this stage. Managing to get almost managing to catch that R2. And Suwu is super low here. Is she going to go for it? Doesn't. Mixes up the timing. Frosty just kind of crouching away, sneaking. The stealth is not going to work here in this arena. But that's going to be both of them at 1100 damage. And she manages to catch him there on that last one. Oof.
And that is what I'm talking about. Just a full awareness of where the UG's hitbox is.
Either way, give us the count in.
I would like to see some more point downs, please. Wake me up. 3, 2, 1, go.
Boom. Out it goes the scepter. Oh, my lord. As we do see the immediate attempt to punish. And it does go through. As we are... What on earth?
What was a very late hit there. That was an interesting one.
There's going to be some interesting stuff all the way across as we are going to see Suwu here going for that. The quick step comes out there once again. Oh, and the aim punch does come in on the side of Frosty. Dear Lord, what an amazing mechanic. Absolutely adore it. As we do see now, Frosty going for those jumps here, tries to go for that hit. Is he going to be able to do it? It has a poke attack on it. That's interesting, yes, but that does win the trade. Suwu managing to catch the R2!
Those R2s are terrifying from a player that knows where they should be. That is, I'll tell you, it's inspirational. You're going to be seeing some friends. They're going to be like, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to play with this for a couple of days to see what's going on. Maybe Suwu has something going on. There's something there to that. And I love seeing it. And it's hard to compliment because, everything else. But they are a hell of a player with that UGS, and they know putting out that damage like that is just so scary. The panic rolls, getting a player like Frosty to panic roll into an R2 is a victory in of itself.
Oh, that's a sad backstab grab there is what that is. And the R2 comes out, but it
No.
doesn't. He does
That-
manage to
that
get
was
the
lame.
interrupt. He calls it out. That's
That
what
was a
I'm...
beautiful call on Frosty's part.
Oh, we
Oh,
see
no.
the shitter
Oh, no.
Frosty coming out at long
Call
last.
the
You've waited.
exterminator. There are roaches all over the floor. Get rid of them. Get rid of the rats. You see it pop out, and you think, I just got to go buy a can of Raid and get rid of this nasty ass. That is
That's
gross.
Bodikins. He's after going Bodikins as well. This is the second phase, Don, as it comes out here on the side of Frosty.
You have to get them before they get under the refrigerator, or they'll never get them out. There's no way you have to do it. Oh, a bit of a misaimed there, and Frosty took advantage of that. That was a lot of damage there at the last bit, and he is still covering his own. Watch out for that hit on that dodge poke, but catching lightning in a bottle is a phrase for a reason. Did not be able to do it a second time on that, and we get a beautiful victory on Frosty's part. It's unfortunate because now I have to say the cockroach wins, and that sucks ass.
Suwucery on the right. Give us the count in.
3, 2, 1, go.
Kaboom. Out goes the bolt here. Goes to the Chris. Suwu learning her lesson, going for the physic. We see both of our players in, as we are going to see. I believe we're back on this Vi here on the side of Suwucery. The volcano pots trying to encourage that a little bit. Almost gets the roll catch there with the Colossal R1, as we do see what's... Oh, quick step comes out there on the side of Suwu, trying to keep up the pressure. What do you think the mistakes are most people are using when it comes to the Wings of Estelle, Don?
I think people's spacing with the weapon, and they really want to use flashy technique. They want, and that's something that you're seeing here with Frosty, but he also understands that you can get close enough to just eat R once, and two-handed as it is, it can put out a lot of damage. But people really want the flash, and I think people aren't aggressive enough with it, and they love to keep that mid-range, which the weapon is good at, but it's not the only thing it's good for. And mixing up timing in a Souls game is what gets you an actual win. You can see that there's a little bit of a reactionary roll on every movement that he's doing, because he can cancel that out with the little flippity-dippity move there, which you can call that whatever you want. But Suwucery has to be aware of every movement could be shitting out a hitbox, and you have to be aware of that. Getting in there with that jumping attack, that is the tried and true. You have to do it. And
nice.
look, there's the slam. That is the perfect way to do it. Every animation there is a threat to you, every single one, because you don't really know the timing. They can charge it, they can not charge it, and Frosty's doing a pretty good job at showing people that the Wing of Estelle is actually pretty damn good and pretty slept on, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, especially given that the curved swords have had a little bit of a buff. He goes for the roll there, but not quite able to make it. Suwu just about getting clipped. We might see... No, we don't see the... what I was expecting there for there to be a tear skip, but Suwu narrowly avoids that. Death as Frosty's tear is going to be procced now as well. And that movement that Suwu does, that very jittery style, in close, trying to force those rolls so she can get the damage in. That's really where she excels. And we are going to see the volcano pots out here to try and encourage some of that aim punch, which is exactly what you want. 535. She swings out a hit stun there, out of his hit stun, to try and get some kind of a catch. Not quite able to connect. And oof. He's looking for these opportunities. Suwu eats that there at mid-range. You mentioned it, that you're going to be at you're at that range. You can just have to be super, super careful. And that's going to be Frosty there looking for those opportunities. We see the kickflip come out. Is he going to... No, he doesn't. He's going to be interrupted. The regular R1 comes out now on the side of Frosty. Suwu keeping up that pressure. Can't allow Frosty that opportunity to get away with any of his shenanigans. Got to keep on top of him. Goes for the run R1. Not quite able to connect. They're both more or less one hit here. Although both of them managed to tank one hit. Are we going to see the cockroach mode come out here on the side of Frosty is the real question. As we do see 10 damage come out there. We are going to see it 17 damage. He does manage to get the cockroach. The raid spray was not sufficient. We're going to have to find another way to get rid of him here in this one.
You're going to have to bomb the whole house.
Not before they hit back. With extreme skill and precision in that stock. Well played to Frosty taking that.
I think we're ready for the next round.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. On a 3, on a 2, on a 1. Allez. And out it goes there. We're going to see the physics here from both of our players. Not going for the punish now. This time is the side of Frosty, but he is definitely showcasing. Definitely looking to show off all of the changes that have been done as he goes for the unsheath here. Not quite able to connect, channeling his inner dark soap by the sounds of things, but not quite able to connect. Looking at it here now yet again, we are going to see Suwu eat just a little bit of damage there in that exchange, but the unlocked play there on the side of Suwu there, dragging it back and then bringing it forward to try and get that different angle of attack to try and get the catch. Not enough though.
I know, and you want to see it. It's a very tough thing to do. People underestimate running with the heavier weapons and being able to shift your hitbox up to turn it into an anti-air instead of them just jumping right over it. You have to make that call out to make it an anti-air, and that is a difficult thing to do given the way that the camera is going all over the place. You have to be aware of that. That's a tough thing, and I don't think it's recognized as a point of skill that it needs to be. But man, that regen there is getting intimidating. There is the crouching tiger hidden dumbass movement, looking over your shoulder and seeing your gameplay from the last rounds against Steel, wondering, when am I going to do anything? You don't know. I'm just going to crouch here and definitely not be shitting my pants.
That is the tech.
Definitely. We're seeing it get closer here. Wonder, and then now again, I see that the washing pole is out, and I'm not calling it anything else. And I do remember using a lot of that in Dark Souls 3, and it's nice to see Frosty has decided, I'm just going to poke you out as much as I can with this ridiculous-ass weapon that should not be in the game, or in any game, and y'all need to stop watching anime.
Oh, goes for the hit there. Frosty is going to be punished for that one. Out it goes. Forced back now once again. He's going to take that little bit of damage. The unsheath comes out here on the side of Frosty, not quite able to connect though as we go for the JR1. It's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting to see if they can both of them can mix it up enough to try and encourage some damage. And oh, that was a really good outspace here on the side of Frosty, managing to get that. Looking at it here, going for that quick step here, almost getting the roll catch now as the side of Suwu, interrupting there for 443 damage and forcing Frosty back once again.
Well, another fancy. Oh, now that was an interesting one. There was something for breakfast, and I don't think that Frosty wanted it. I think he looked down at that cereal bowl and said, "Oh no."
Dodd, give us the count in.
3, 2, 1, go.
Boom! Out it comes there. Is that going to be a dismounter off Pike? Yes, it is. Oh lord. And there we have it. We go for the jump attacks there. Oh, I may have given the wrong one. Never mind. Out it comes there. The R1 comes out. Not quite able to connect. As we are looking at it there. Oh, the ice! The cold! Frosty earning his namesake there with the cold... I believe it's a cold Pike there in that exchange. Suwu trying to go for that, a little bit of pressure. Tries to go for the backstab. Not quite able to do it. Chipping Suwu down slowly but surely. And here we go. Are we going to see the roll outs? We are going to see it. Tries to space it out. Does decide to go for the roll instead. Suwu going for the fan daggers there because people remind off dismounter.
One of the more comical moments of Elden Ring is seeing someone fall flat on their ass due to a headshot from something or another, being just, a small breeze in the wind tipping you down. Oh my goodness, the second Ice Age, but that was a great roll catch.
Look at that movement on the side of Suwucery, those jitters, forcing those rolls out, even from someone with the roll discipline is like, the perfect block comes out on the side of Suwu, managing to force that one out and keep up the pressure after it. Very, very good stuff on the side of Suwu. That was a very good input. And there we are. We're going. That's spooky as she is going to force him out. Goes to the R2, not quite able to connect. And we see it here, looking for that opportunity there. We are going to see it there. The R1's come out, forcing the roll on the side of Frosty.
Well, and you can see the Suwucery is deciding, when their attacks are definitely not as optimal as they could be because they know they have to trip Frosty up. You can't play typically with a setup like this. Everyone still remembers when it was very, very good. Everyone was there at MAG getting absolutely molded out of their fucking mind. We were all there for it. And those little R1 mix-ups, changing up the timings, that's the only way that you're going to get in. And there's another one, that running attack cannot be denied. It is not all crouch pokes and R2s,
Oh, that
but
was a
that is an unfortunate.
tragic.
That was so bad. It was so unfortunate. Oh
And
my
she
goodness.
manages to space out the
Ooh.
pike. Oh, and puts. She's not out of the. She's not out of it yet, though. As she keeps up that pressure, the two-handed pike on the side of Frosty, but it is not going to be enough.
Frosty
Oh,
putting baby in the corner, says the Iceman cometh. What killed Horny on Main? The Ice Age.
but
So we'll have to see.
it remains to be seen, as we do have Frosty in the left, Sue on the right. Give us the opportunity. Give us the count in at your leisure.
3, 2, 1, go.
Boom! Out goes the bolt. And we are going to see both of our players here. The Chris comes out, is going to get that 300 damage there. The scythe here on the side of Frosty, and that both of them have such an individual style of movement. And again, we see Suwucery here in neutral doing these little step aways, doing all that kind of like jittery movement to try and force out some kind of an action. Frosty, of course, known for his crouch out on he'll crouch and walk away. I don't know why he does it, but you know what, it's definitely something. Then we see that holding onto the input there, trying to force the roll. Doesn't do it though. We are going to see very reactive play here on the side of Frosty.
Well, you can get the other player's head. You can do a bunch of weird things. You can't read what's illiterate. If you're going to get closer and closer to performing something and look like you know what you're doing, it is very possible that you don't, but they think that you do. It's all a mind game. Probably a student of Sun Tzu, as he read 2 passages on Facebook and thought he's just like me for real. Frosty does have some of the most consistent reverse jumps that I think I've seen. Of course, he blows it in that regard, but I've seen actually from players. And those jumps are not helping at the moment as the shunter gets his vortex out. As you can see, that vortex is something that everybody has trouble with, even experienced players. Getting closer. Can't just reaction roll every little bit and piece of this one. This is definitely a different fight than Uggs. The flask comes out as either they've forgotten it or thought about it. Oh no, it's scurrying. It's scurrying for the under the fridge. It knows that its life is almost over, and its only idea of getting away is getting away from your bug bomb. You have to do that.
Oh, that grab was tragic.
Suwucery's movement is not working out for us at the moment. Those backstabs are punishing, but able to follow up with what Frosty is doing with that shunter. Everyone knows two-handed scythe, doesn't care about poise, is probably going to win out trades and can keep spamming it even after landing a hit. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But this shunter is just the chase down here is fantastic on Suwucery's part, really giving Frosty a run for his money, as he is now 1 hit away, at least for the time being, until the cockroach armor continues to crutch for somebody. Don't know who.
There's a headshot.
There's a headshot that could have been a jumping attack. Maybe would have landed. Another reverse jump. Very consistent. Something I would not do that low health, but Frosty is confident in their abilities. But there's the trade. It is unfortunate. With those rolls and those distances, that is not going to be as perfect as maybe he would have liked. A crouching attack might have stopped that from happening, but the regular R1s, that ain't going to do it.
And speaking of friendships being end, we better carry on before one ends right now. All right. Ladies and gents, we have both of our players in. Frosty versus Suwu in round 8. This is match point for Frosty, but can Suwu force a match point herself? God, give us the count in.
3, 2, 1, go.
Boom! Out goes the bolt there, and we are going to see both of our players there going for that. We do see the daggers coming out, and no, we haven't seen much of it this tournament, but how do you feel about the different point downs, Dodd? Like, which game do you think is the best point down all in all?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the boom 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 of Dark Souls 1. That was a very powerful one.
It was definitely powerful for real. As we are going to see Suwucery here going for what I can only describe as, the Adderall out of her mind jitters that she's doing right now in game are definitely wishing that I was slightly younger when I started playing these games competitively. As she is, the perfect block there yet again. Dear Lord. She has those on point as she is going to force back Frosty now. Frosty is going to be rocking what seems to be... it's a two-handed carrions?
It looks like.
That is exactly what it is. What on earth is he at? But either way, we are going to see Suwucery here going for that jump attack, not quite able to connect. Force back though with the jump at R1 on the side of Frosty. He might change that up for a jump R2. They're not dreadful and will definitely force a backstab as Suwucery does manage to get that damage. A beautiful movement on her part, but unfortunately did manage to get the backstab grab, as we do see Frosty now 340 damage on that one there. Suwucery forced back now once again. We do see it. Out it comes. And this is... I'm so curious as to how this one is going to go, Dodd. Oh, the trade!
That was nasty. Oh, and another follow-up there. Keeping it up. The Vortex is out. The panic rolls are there. A rare moment for Frosty. Feeling that out, but we know what's coming. Get in there to punish that. You need to be there. You need to be there. If I can see it, you should too. But it doesn't. It doesn't matter. That was Frosty had expected a lot of things in that interaction, and for Suwucery to just throw one the fuck out, an absolute Hail Mary, was something I don't think any of us expected.
Ladies and gentlemen, on a 3, on a 2, on a 1, alley, out it goes. The bolt is out. We are going to see the Glintstone Chris here come out once again on the side of Frosty. Look, and there we have it. The HTS with the off dagger is real. Managing to catch Suwu there with the run R2. We do see it there. Suwu not having any of its 634 damage there in that exchange, forcing Frosty back. Frosty here keeping that very long distance, looking to try and set up for those attacks. It is the run R2 is backstabbable. However, we do see the fan daggers come out here. Suwu looking for that opportunity, goes to that press. Probably not a good play. We are going to see that waggle, trying to force the roll there, or at least try and force another perfect block. Out comes the offhand. I believe that's a Wakizashi on the side of Frosty. Goes to the trade there on the side of Suwu. Suwu changing up the timings there, using an R1. Tries to get the unlock play there. 315. Standing there trying to get just to force that roll. Frosty's having another 315 there on that one. 668, 492. That's going to be the tear gun on the side of Frosty. Goes to the jump R2 there is the side of Frosty on that one. Suwu keeping that long spacing, trying to bait out something. Doesn't manage to get the punish in that run R2. Just by a hair's breadth missed it. Frosty taking that damage there. Goes for it, forcing the roll from Suwu. Suwu keeping up that little bit of pressure. Managing to get for 441. Suwu is going to be hit by it. Misses the unlocked play there is the side of Suwu though at that one. Not quite able to make it the run R1 to try and change up the timing. Is she going to go for a trade? She decides against it. She is very low. Has to be careful. 18 damage there just to try and keep up that little bit of damage. Runs out from that one. We do see the frost come off on that one. And there we have it. We are going to see both of our players here. The little bit of unlock play, trying to bait out, I guess, and run R2 as we do see the two-handed icon shield coming out on Frosty, as he is going to be moving into cockroach mode, I'd imagine, for this one. Forced back, goes for the run attack, trying to find an opportunity. The two-handed shear? What is Frosty doing? Changing up the timing. Suwu could have gone for an opportunity to go for a trade there. Not quite able to do it. It has forced Suwu on the back foot, as we do see the full Royal Remain set come out on the side of Frosty. Suwu is incredibly low. We do see the frost come out. Are we going to see the attempt to... If she trades into this now, she will win it. We do see that. Tries to go for the hit. Not quite able to connect. Frosty getting the backswing there. And that's going to be Suwu taking the set.
I really thought there that was going to go the other way. But Frosty showed for a brief moment that one little quick roll, that little panic roll there, and gave just enough momentum for Ruth to pop himself off. That was...
You mean Suwu.
That was...